It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your hosts, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Yes, it is the return. What is going on, my pretty babies? Lee Sanders back with you guys for an all-new RCWR show. We're doing this on a Tuesday night, February 25th, 2025. Great to be back with you guys. I missed you all so much. Man, I was bummed that we did not do the show live Monday, but I was having a headache of technical difficulties, a lot of it out of my control, because when it all came down to it, it was all about the internet connection. And here's the thing. I was able to connect all my favorite devices to my internet without any issues, but for some weird reason, when I was opening up StreamYard to syndicate the streams and everything go live, it was having a hiccup. So it was like, what the hell? And then I ended up discovering that there was a little feature that I could access to see what's going on with StreamYard as far as any connectivity issues and all that. So I was looking at that bad boy all throughout the night tonight, up until NXT went off the air, and I saw, oh, we on point, we good to go. So yes. Let me know, speaking about NXT, what you guys had thought about tonight's NXT. I got to tell you, I said this on social media, and I still stand behind it. One of the most strongest additions of NXT that I've experienced in recent months. I thought from top to bottom, tonight's show was on point. And just thinking about some of the matches that has been announced for NXT Roadblock, fam, I am excited more about NXT Roadblock than I am about this weekend's Elimination Chamber PLE. That's the God's to honest truth. That is the God's to honest truth. So yeah, we're going to talk about all of that loveliness, all of that good stuff coming up. By the way, for those of you that had reached out to me privately, or you shot me an email, or even shot me a text message, wishing me, the very best and everything, it really meant a lot. I appreciate. For those of you that are not aware, my father-in-law, he, and I respect the guy, love the guy tremendously. He had a very scary incident that went down almost 2 weeks ago, where basically he fell. He was just, I think he was coming away from using the bathroom, and he slipped and fell, and he landed on his hip, and he's already a bony guy as it is. He's 77 years old. He broke his hip, and he basically was on his back for a couple of days. It was a very, very scary situation. I don't want to dive too much into the weed of things, but there was just this big old ball of miscommunication in regards to his landlord, who's also his roommate, who didn't have the common sense to at least have a close friend, next door neighbor, or even call my wife Tams, hey, this is what's going on. Like, he's saying one thing, but I think maybe we need to just do a welfare check on him. I can't really reach him because, my health problems. It's just really, really weird what went down, but I'm glad we got to him when we did, because he was laying on his back, 2 going on 3 days, nothing to drink, nothing to eat. So obviously he was suffering from mad dehydration and everything. Just he's okay now though. He's good. He got surgery done on his hip. What was it? It was Sunday. This past Sunday, he got surgery done on his hip, and then Monday he went to the place where he's going to be staying at for the next couple of weeks for his physical therapy. And from there, we're still trying to figure out where he goes from there. He wants to go back home, but we've already told him, look, if you're going to be doing this, there is some caveats. Like if he wants to go back to where he was staying before and everything, like there's some caveats to that. One of them, of course, is you need to look into getting some type of a personal aide that can stop by a couple of times a week. Make sure you're on point. You've got everything you need. If there's any appointments you need to go to, boom, you're taken to those appointments. If you want to go grocery shopping, you got to get some medicine, like boom, boom, all those will be taken care of for you. And he seems very, very receptive to the idea as opposed to a couple of years prior. Because not for nothing, but we've been kind of toying around this idea to him off and on for, I would say, about 3 years now. But now it seems like he's more and more, okay, I'm listening. And most importantly, he's listening to his body. So he's in really, really good spirits. So that's the important thing. More on the Sanders household later during the show, because there's a whole bunch of other craziness that's going down, but a little bit of positivity in there as well. I'll share that with you guys later on. So yeah, you guys now know, because we took as a result of everything that was going on, I pretty much said, look, no shows for last week. So this is my first time back. I pretty much was not in a wrestling mode as a result of everything that was going on last week. So to come back a bit refreshed and everything, usually I like getting in a little bit of time before WrestleMania hits. I did not plan on it happening this soon. I usually like to do it, like a day or two here or there. But man, a lot of the stuff that we've been getting so far on the road to WrestleMania season, it has been on point. It's been firing on all cylinders. Tonight's NXT, we saw Julia, our current NXT Women's Champion, cross paths with the NXT North American champion and Stephanie Vaquer. And the challenge was basically laid out by Julia. Hey, I'm the women's champion, and you say that you're the best. Well, I'm holding this championship right here, and I definitely consider myself the best. So pretty much it's like, what's up? Well, let's have this battle. You, me, let's do this. Champion versus champion, title versus title. And it was made official later on during the broadcast. So NXT Roadblock at Madison Square Garden. I would imagine that's going to be, if not the main event, for sure, it's going to be one of two main events. Stephanie Vaquer defending that NXT North American Championship against Julia and Julia's NXT Women's Championship. Winner takes all. Winner walks out with both championships. Very excited for that matchup. Look, they've been teasing this for quite a while, since both women were initially acquired by WWE at just about the same time, right? So, I mean, you just figured it'd be a no-brainer that, yeah, on the road to WrestleMania, we're likely going to see these girls lock it up. And you know what? The fact that we're finally going to see these two get it on, I am all in on it, baby. Sign me up. I'm locked and reloaded. I'm ready to go. All of this came fresh off of Stephanie Vaquer successfully defending for the very first time that North American Championship, as she defended it against Carmen Petrovic. And I gotta say, Carmen did pretty damn well for herself in this matchup against Stephanie Vaquer. The girls went about 12, maybe 13 minutes long. A little bit of sloppiness here and there, but overall, very solid match. I felt that Carmen, particularly, she rose to the occasion in making it look rather not that easy of a title defense for Stephanie Vakir. I don't think, and when I say that, I definitely want to, I definitely want to preface it by saying, look, when you're watching this match, you're not feeling at any point in time that Stephanie Vakir was going to lose this title, but the fact that you saw so much effort in the way the match was laid out and everything, the fact that you saw so much of a story being told in the ring, and Carmen coming up being, quite believable that, well, maybe she just might have the champion's number here. She just might. It was rather believable to certain aspects. So I'm most curious, though, going forward to see what they do with Carmen after this, because you can definitely build off of what you did here with Carmen against Stephanie Vakir. You can easily have Carmen say, yo, I was so close. I tasted it. It was within my grasp. I almost had it. Yeah, I promise you this much. If I get another opportunity, I'm definitely going to hit gold the second time around. Bank on that. I would like to see her, tell that type of story. I mean, obviously it's a case now. Okay, moving on. But I would like to see her kind of, yeah, you ain't seen the last of me in the title picture just yet. I thought for this great outing against Stephanie Vakir, she did fantastic. I mean, it wasn't a perfect stepping up to the home plate and boom, swing, and oh man, look at that beauty. That is definitely a home run. Little little sloppy in some areas there, especially down the final stretch, but overall, very, very solid. I personally felt from there, the hits just kept on coming. We got to see the TNA X Division champion himself, Moose. 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 I love that dude, man. I love that dude. So let me see if I got this straight, because I got to push back on you all just a little bit here. So we got some folks in the wrestling community that are saying apparently Moose versus Oba Femi is a dream match. Am I hearing this right? Look, I'm very familiar with Oba Femi. I've watched him off and on for many months now. Many months now. I am not going to say dream matchup. I'm not going to say that. I'm being honest, right? Keeping it honest, insightful, interactive since 2011. Yeah, no, that does not. And look, that's not me doing a whole poo poo on the platter there. Okay. That's not me crapping on. I'm just being honest. I'm being realistic with myself. Now, if you were to sit me down and say, a couple of months prior, Lee, this TNA wrestling, WWE NXT relationship and everything, as far as crossover matches, big matches, what you got going down, for sure, I would go, okay, give me Moose versus Oba Femi. But in no shape or form would I say dream match. But look, this is how apparently there are actually, believe it or not, some fans that feel this way. It's a dream match for them, apparently. Okay, well, whatever. Not my dream match. It's a nice match, though. It's definitely a good match. I'm down with that. But I just wish we would be very, very careful with what we dub as a dream match, because I kind of feel as though we are taking things out of context when we do it that way. Now, if you were to say to me, as far as, okay, so what truly is a dream match, right? What is a dream match? Well, I know for the longest time, we as fans, and we're probably never going to see it, but Stone Cold Steve Austin versus CM Punk. And when you go back in the Wayback Machine, you look up vintage stuff wrestling wise on YouTube from back in the day, you'll see some of the stuff that us fans were reminiscing about, and just how out of our minds we were at the idea that we could potentially, way back when, that potentially we could have gotten a CM Punk Stone Cold Steve Austin match, and yet it did not happen. And we still dream about that to this very day. One of my personal dream matches never came to fruition. Don't ever see it happening. But I used to toy with the idea of the Monster Abyss getting into a feud with Cactus Jack slash Mankind slash Mick Foley. That used to be a dream match of mine. There also used to be a dream match of mine where I love the idea of Undertaker or Kane taking on Abyss. I always wanted to see AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels dream match. Okay. So, I don't think I need to give you guys any more examples. So, when somebody says to me, Moose versus Obafemi dream match, I go, I don't know if that's I don't, teach don't. I don't see a bunch of wrestling fans around my age, a little bit younger, maybe, older fans going, dream match. Yeah, that's but to say no, that would actually be a good match, right? Just something to think about. We got to be careful how we're throwing these terminologies around. That's all I'm saying, fam. But TNA X Division champion Moose in the house going up against the Heritage Cup winner Lexis King. I'm glad that they did not make this a squash match because I thought for sure that was maybe where we were going, but didn't go that way. I'm so happy for Moose. I got to say, I've been a big fan of his work for many, many, many years. And those that used to check out my TNA Impact Showdown reviews from back in the day know deeply how much of a big fan I am of Moose. Just the overall magnificent specimen of if you were to just go out tomorrow and decide you wanted to start your own wrestling promotion and you can have any pick in the world as far as who you want to be one of the faces of your company as far as champions, you're definitely looking at Moose and you're going, he's got the entrance theme, he's got the look, he's got the charisma, he's smooth in everything you would want. He's checking every single damn thing off the box. You feel me? You definitely are going to go with the big guy, Moose. 9 minutes of a match here against Lexis King. Rather decent match with two of these guys. Lexis King, I tell you, hopefully he's growing on a lot of you guys by now, and you're starting to see what many of us were seeing of this man when he was in AEW. He is getting better and better with every single opportunity that is coming his way. If I have one big takeaway from this match against Moose tonight, it's the fact that Lexis King got in much more offense in this match than I thought he was going to have. Because honestly, I thought this was just going to be a one-man ass-kicking contest and it was going to be a glorified squash match. But it wasn't the case whatsoever. So two things can be said that's true here in regards to this match, which is Moose came away looking like a bona fide stud. And Lexus did a really good job in selling that offense from Moose, making Moose not look bad at all, as far as I was concerned. Moose would not have enough time to celebrate his win, his first W in NXT slash WWE as the still new, relatively new NXT World Champion. And Obafemi came on out. Pretty much you, me, the fans wanted, talking about this dream match. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. You, me, title for title at NXT Roadblock. Later on in the night, we got the official word. It's going to be at Roadblock. Obafemi versus Moose, title versus title. And again, that's going to be going down in 2 weeks. So excited. So excited. Look, man, I don't know, fam. Like, I might try to see if I can get some tickets to NXT Roadblock. I might just try to drive on down there just for the show and then drive on. I'm gonna have to get with the wifey and see what she thinks, because I'm almost tempted to try it. But then it would be kind of one of those, who would we get to watch the girls for those handful of hours there? That's the only thing I can't quite picture right now. But more on that later. I'll keep you guys posted. A lot can happen in 2 weeks. From there, Sean Spears talking about how NXT is the land of the talented, but there are a few that are misguided and everything. And he talks about how he's guided Brooks Jensen, Nico Vance, Izzy Dame. And now that the family is complete, he says that Don Tony never saw it coming. Don Tony, Tony D'Angelo, Tony D, that he never saw it coming. And the only thing to do now is next week take Tony's title. So that's what's going on from there. Jordan Grace appeared on tonight's show. She had a face-off there against Roxanne Perez. That was a nice little back and forth between the two. I'm just thinking about what all had happened during that. Each one of the girls took cheap shots at one another for the fact that they are no longer the women's champion for the respected brand and all that. Perez sarcastically saying to Jordan Grace, hey, it's about time you pretty much came on over here where the big boys play. Pretty much kind of going in that direction and everything. Jordan Grace being called a big fish in a small pond because it's Roxanne Perez's division. Jordan Grace doesn't get to call all the shots. Jordan pretty much coming right back. Okay, you say this is your division, but like, where's your title? Roxanne Perez pretty much saying literally the same damn thing back at her and everything. She says there's a gap between them, but that she's going to be going into the Elimination Chamber and she'll win, go on to WrestleMania, and maybe she'll win the NXT Women's Championship for a third time to become Roxy Two Belts. Grace counters right back saying everyone has a plan and she knocked Roxanne Perez on her ass. Roxanne escaping, but clearly pissed off. All right, so we got the start here, basically, of a nice little eventual match between these two, right? We officially got the start of a program. I'm down with that. These two seem to match up quite well. So I'm looking forward to seeing when these girls lock it up. Meanwhile, Trick Williams backstage, pretty pissed off that a lot of people were mocking him over losing to Eddie Thorpe. Javon walks up and says he gets what Trick is going through. Trick says that they aren't the same, and tells Javon to pretty much mind his business, stay over in his corner. Javon says he's crashing out and says he'll take care of him too. Ricky walks up and offers a hand to Trick, but Trick, still feeling a bit hot-headed, standoffish, and all of that stuff. Mystery 4. We've been teased around with the Mystery 4 by now. We pretty much got an idea of who they are and everything. They apparently were all throughout the night being seen at different points. Not the full face, just back of their heads, recording some footage, laughing in the background, things of that nature. Their presence was definitely felt shortly after the match between the Hardys against Tavon Hayes and Miles Bourne. And Vic Joseph with the line of the night when the Hardys came out, because they got such a huge freaking reaction. It was so huge that Vic Joseph says, man, this reaction, listen to this. It's so loud. It's so loud that even Miles Bourne can hear it. And you're just going, God damn, that was savage. But you get the point that Vic Joseph was trying to make and everything. But 50-year-old Matt Hardy and 47-year-old Jeff Hardy making their NXT debut in this one looked pretty damn good. They kept up with the young boys extremely well. No pun intended on the extreme, but seriously, they kept up with the boys very well. This easily was for me, looking back on it in hindsight, this was easily for me the match of the night. The match of the night. Pretty damn good match. Results being that the Hardy Boys won, definitely, that's a no-brainer right there. It's interesting because when you look at this match, and you go back to Lexis King versus Moose, you're going, okay, here's another case here where you're thinking, this is probably going to be maybe another squash match. But on the contrary, here you have another match of some older folks from the TNA roster, but are definitely over in TNA, and they're working with these young up and coming stars, and these young up and coming stars on the NXT roster, they're getting in so much more offense than anticipated, I think, by some. It really created fun dynamics and made good chemistry when it was all said and done. I loved the reaction that the Hardys got. It felt like a really cool, magical homecoming moment for sure, and everything. Fraxium came out afterwards congratulating the Hardys on their win and appearing in NXT for the very first time. They pretty much got right to the heart of the matter. Yo, let's do this. Champs versus champs. Santino Marella came out. Crowd popped really hard for Santino because he got the classic WWE theme that he was pushing years back when he came out. So fans were definitely into that. And it's official. NXT Roadblock. We're going to see the Hardys defend the TNA tag team titles against Fraxium. Want to make sure we stress that, because for those of you, another title versus type. No. Not on this one. For this one, it's going to be just the TNA titles that's going to be up for grabs. From there, squash match, Lola Vice, Ariana Grace. Grace had no chance in hell. She had no chance in hell. Next week on NXT, we got the North American title match as Tony D'Angelo takes on Shawn Spears. Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker, they'll be locking up. Also, Piper Nevin and Chelsea Green, they'll team up to take on Sol Ruka and Zarya. Your main event match for tonight, Ricky Saints, the man formerly known as Ricky Starks, teaming up with Javon Evans to take on Ethan Page, Mr. Kill Him With a Smile, and Wes Lee. Ricky Saints and Javon Evans going over in that main event, which went almost 15 minutes long. Pretty good first match for Ricky Starks. Everyone did their part very well. Solid main event. Gave Saints his most anticipated in-ring debut / victory. So he is off to a very good start. I got to tell you, since he made his debut last week, because I didn't get a chance to comment, good for him. Good for him that, and when you think back in hindsight, you just knew it was going to be inevitable that he was going to be going to the WWE because of his close ties there with Cody Rhodes. And just also, Ricky, to his own credit, has two set of eyeballs. He sees what's going on with Cody Rhodes. He sees what's been happening with CM Punk. He sees what's been happening with Lexis King. He sees what's been happening with Ethan Page. He sees what's been happening with Shawn Spears. He sees what's been happening with Jade Cargill. He sees what's been happening with Jordan Grace. Fill in the blank. He sees. I mean, look, it ain't no different than if you're behind was standing in line for about 30 minutes, you waiting to eat, and you seeing these other people, they don't came from this other place that's across the street where they're able to get their food, bing bang boom bing pom, just like that, and the shit smells good and it looks good and it's more affordable. What you think is going to happen? Your ass is eventually going to get out that line, that long ass line, and go where the other people are going, right? I mean, it's just a no-brainer. So I am looking forward to seeing how he does in the WWE realm. I'm looking to see how WWE is able to mold him, how they're going to really be able to make him stand out and be a better version of what we've been getting so far and everything. Because if truth be told, the Ricky Starks that we saw in AEW was essentially a continuation of the Ricky Starks that had been on the independents that I was seeing, running around in various promotions, definitely NWA, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken there. So I'm curious to see where things are going to go, ahead. But I personally expect nothing but big things to be on the horizon for the young man. Plays his cards right, does everything right. I tell you what, probably by summer, we may be looking at Ricky Starks as the NXT World Heavyweight Champion. Not too far fetched, I don't think. But this edition of NXT, one of the most fast paced 2 hour shows that came and went, loaded from top to bottom, big announcements, big matches made. Um, the matches that's been set for Roadblock, particularly, good stuff and everything. Um, it seemed like each segment that we got tonight, there was great substance behind it. There was great meaning. It wasn't a case where, all right, we're just doing this, with the exception of Ariana Grace and Lola Vice, which, if you want to be technical, you could have said, I really could have done without that. But putting that to the side, it felt as though there was no wasted motion. There was no waste of space. You feel where I'm coming from? So definitely, and made you very excited to go ahead and see what's happening with TNA wrestling. On that note, I know TNA wrestling's been trying to do a better job in having their shows be live, trying to ride that momentum that's been happening with their partnership in WWE and everything. But yeah, definitely pretty solid show. Let's go to the poll. Ask you guys, what did you think about tonight's NXT? We got a poll up on youtube.com/the RCWR show. And we got the poll up on X, formerly known as Twitter, at the RCWR show. Let's first go over to YouTube and see what you guys are saying over there. Shout out to y'all that's checking out the stream, by the way, however y'all are doing it. Much love. Right now on YouTube, 100% of the votes that's coming in, y'all are saying tonight's NXT was a awesome show. And meanwhile, going over to X, seeing what you all are saying over there, X at the RCWR show. 13% of you felt it was an average edition of NXT. Meanwhile, 88% of you all are saying it was a awesome show. Keep the votes coming in there. And keep it rocking, keep it coming, and all that good stuff. By the way, yeah, let's hide that. There we go. We got NXT in the books there. Solid edition of Monday Night Raw. I was looking forward to talking a little bit about Monday Night Raw. I think by now everybody knows pretty much the full results. So I'll just give blanket thoughts on this week's Monday Night Raw, as it was the final Raw before this weekend's Elimination Chamber. It's interesting because I thought, with regards to CM Punk, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, I was under the impression that all three of them were actually going to have a talking head segment with one another. And it's interesting how everything ended up, and I think in the most positive way. Yeah, I think in the most positive way. It ended up playing out pretty well there, as you had Punk and Logan Paul pretty much following up on the events that transpired at the Royal Rumble, where Paul threw out Punk. And you got Punk pretty much going, look, I don't know what's going on with you, kid. You're making things personal, and I'm not sure why, because I've got nothing against you. I'm not even thinking about you like that on a personal level. For me, it is all about business and everything. And I like how Punk just pretty much owned this guy and saying, yeah, you're right. I am a legend. I am there in my own right with the Rocks, the Stone Colds, and pretty much letting Logan Paul know that that is something that Logan Paul, will never be able to obtain. He's just basically a flash in the pan, right? Nobody's going to be thinking about him because he's just an afterthought or whatever. I thought their chemistry together, nice back and forth. Really, really was. It just had me looking at just the whole dynamic, just the idea of those two in a long-term program with one another. Going, man, if WWE really wanted to, they've stumbled upon something pretty badass. I personally feel, and depending on how low below the belt they want to go with this, that could be one of the hottest programs that they could ride going into SummerSlam between Punk versus Paul, if they do this right. So I know for now, this is all about selling Elimination Chamber and all that, but I'm just looking at it beyond that. WWE definitely has, funny thing, on the way to heaven, they've stumbled upon something here with these two that I definitely think they should give strong, deep consideration for after WrestleMania season is over, and all of that. Rollins, in the meantime, showing up there, Cody Rhodes talking with him. Now, see, it's interesting because you would have thought that Raw would have been over after that Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins segment. But that was not the case at all, because we had the main event match there, and congrats to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. If I remember right now, Liv Morgan is now a 3-time women's tag champion there. So that is, look, this has been playing out the way we thought it was going to play out, because we've been talking about it right here on the show in regards to, look, those tag titles, they got to somehow come off of Naomi and Bianca. Jay Cargill re-enters the picture. Payback is a dog. Okay, now we're gonna finally find out here. Okay, what really went down here? And as we finally heard Liv Morgan say, well, contrary to the belief, as much as we like to take credit for what happened there with Jay Cargill, that wasn't us. We had nothing to do with that, right? So now the plot thickens, and we're starting to bring it on home and everything. It's on course. It's on course, because we've pretty much been saying this should culminate WrestleMania, right? Jay Cargill and all that. So, but for Rollins to get in the face of Cody Rhodes and basically saying to him, yo, you're actually entertaining this idea. Why didn't you bitch slap The Rock right there on the spot as he stood there? Don't make me regret, being your shield at last year's WrestleMania and helping you become the world heavyweight champion. Don't make me regret that decision. You know, um, Loved it. Loved it. I love Rollins also saying to Cody, look, if you're starting to feel the pressure, if you're starting to think maybe being the champion, it's becoming too much, I'll take that burden off your hands. And also letting him know, look, I'm going to Elimination Chamber. I plan on winning it, and unlike The Rock, I'm not, tell you right now, I'm not coming for your soul, but I am coming for that championship. I love Seth Rollins really setting the tone here. And, it's interesting because you could almost make an argument that this was really good damage control, if you want to call it that. It's funny, I say damage control, and I'm not even thinking about the girl stable there. But you could almost say that WWE was almost kind of doing a little bit of damage control from what had happened with last week's SmackDown and everything. Because I mean, and look, by now everybody and their mother has seen that Cody Rhodes Rock segment. Look, we can all be in agreement it was a awkward segment. I don't know if you really want to say it was awkward in a good way. I know when I was watching it in real time, literally, it's what I was saying to my wife. I said, man, these rock skits, these rock segments, you're able to start predicting these bad boys because the rock comes out. Oh, yeah, you got the rock feeling good. Oh, yeah, yeah, rock's very happy to be here tonight. I tell you what, God, mother, the rock just, okay, so yeah, you're gonna cuss up a storm. All right, can you get back to what you were talking about before there? Like, what's bringing you out here? And then you'll get the main meat and potatoes of the bullet point for why Rock is out there, and then it's just getting back into more cuss mode, and then that's pretty much it with the Rock. Um, this was one of those segments where I was intrigued, but at the same time, I'm going like, man, this is just so, I didn't think it was bad. I've seen much worse. I know some of my friends and colleagues in the podcasting where they were like, this is the worst segment of all time. Like, there's other segments that I would deem worthy of, no, no, no. These are the worst segments of all time. A rushed segment from a writing standpoint, probably a perplexing, not in a good way, perplexed eater segment. Yeah. So much so that, like, ask yourselves this question. If the segment was that good, then why would WWE immediately do a press conference afterwards? And before anybody goes, yeah, but this was about, it was about promoting WrestleMania and Rock sharing that news in regards to WrestleMania. Look, as far as the Rock and the whole WrestleMania 42 news, which is great for New Orleans. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. Really, sincerely, I'm happy for them and everything. But that all because I watched the Rock press conference. And like I was saying to some people, I said, man, that was 10 times better than the shit that we got from the SmackDown segment. It really was. And for those of you that never did watch the Rock WrestleMania press conference, go or SmackDown press conference, go watch it when you get an opportunity. Go watch it because you're going, wow, this was more entertaining. And he was drinking vodkas left and right, drinking his little drinky drink left and right. That was more entertaining than what we got with him and Cody in that ring. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. If you want to just say, oh, he was out there just talking WrestleMania. No, no, no. The WrestleMania question was maybe, from what I remember, one, maybe two questions at most. I know one of the questions that was asked of him was, is there going to be WWE television programming to complement WrestleMania weekend? And Rock pretty much was like, yes, like they don't have everything hammered out just yet as far as the official dates for the shows and all that. Understandable. It is basically a year plus out. Understandable. But yes, they are going to have shows that's going to be centered around. Right. So that's great. But then the other thing, as far as what took up the most of that press conference, was Rock just reminiscing about his Nation of Domination days, being the final boss character and giving us a whole psychology thing, breakdown into the final boss character. And it was a very cohesive press conference of stuff that's been regurgitated over and over again. So if you like hearing classic stories, that was for you. That was for you. Look, my 2 cents from a distance on it. I would be shocked to hear that the whole Rock SmackDown press conference thing, that was to do damage control. I would really be shocked to hear that. But if you're asking me straight up, Lee, as the spectator in you, Was that needed after what happened there with Cody and The Rock? I would say no, it wasn't needed. If anything, you just move on to the next show. Plain and simple. Let the fans marinate, let them think what they want to think and all this other stuff and just pretty much go from there. But it's really interesting because to go from that SmackDown segment and then we go to Cody making an appearance on Raw, kind of trying to dive into that whole deal, but we can't really go there because Seth Rollins has to come in there and, hey, what's going on? It's like, okay, all right. So basically, we don't have Cody's answer. We won't get his answer until the Elimination Chamber and how things is being dubbed up and everything. I don't know if this is a case where we're about to meet The Rock and his Ministry of Darkness or his corporate ministries, the corporation empire, stable. I don't know what's going on. We'll talk more about that later on in the show, though. But interesting developments that we had going on from those standpoints. As far as the matches from this week's Raw, I'll give it up to Dakota Kai and what's her face? It was Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I thought that was a pretty solid matchup. Dakota Kai really coming along there. Some good stuff right there. Michael Cole and the gang had revealed that Rey Mysterio is out indefinitely after that beatdown he took at the hands of New Day. LWO members. I can't even think of their names right now. What is it, Zaquan Wild, and I don't know the other guy. I don't care. I just know New Day won. That's all that mattered to me. But Rey Mysterio, we're not going to be seeing him for the foreseeable future as he is out indefinitely, apparently. So honestly, and before anybody wants to jump on that, oh, he couldn't work out a new deal with WWE, or are these the end of days for Rey Mysterio? Like I think it's just that time where Rey Mysterio rests up for a little bit. I got Ray coming back in time for WrestleMania. Let's not forget Rey Mysterio. Very excited in some recent interviews he gave where he talked about, hey, I love the fact that we've got Dragon Lee. I love the fact that we've got Penta, and I see him sticking around just long enough till he can lock it up with some of these other cats and pretty much go from there. Ludwig Kaiser, speaking about some more matches here, Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne, Penta, triple threat match. Kaiser picking up the win there. Nice little fun match. Way too short for my personal taste, though. Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde is who I was thinking of earlier there from the LWO. Gunther, squash match there against Akira Tozawa. It's kind of fun how that match came about too. Pretty much a instant Acme feud. Gunther minding his own business, just walking around, sees Otis, Akira, Maxine dancing, doing some type of pelvis thrust, and decides, oh, yeah, I need to beat somebody's ass. What the hell am I looking at here? That was kind of funny on that one. What else? Dominic Mysterio versus Braun Breaker. So interesting what creative is doing right here. So on the one hand, you're looking at this and you're going, so are we officially trying to put Braun Breaker on that babyface path here? Like, what are we doing? Because we've put basically Finn Balor in the IC title picture by doing what we did here with Braun Breaker, right? So we've basically got Finn Balor in the title picture. We've essentially put AJ Styles in the title picture as well. And look, if the main event for WrestleMania for the IC title is going to be AJ versus Breaker, like I'm totally down for that and everything. But I can't help but also think beyond that because there's strength in numbers. And right now we've got Carlito, Balor, Dominic Mysterio. I still believe we're on track from what I was talking about several weeks ago, where eventually we're going to see AJ Styles, Dragunov, Breaker. There's going to be some type of maybe a alliance there against the Judgment Day. Wait and see how that all plays out. But for most of the action that we got from Raw this week, I thought the in-ring action was pretty solid. I could have done though without the squash matches though. I could have done without those. We could have maybe got a little bit more substance in there. That would have been fine for me. To the polls we go one more time. X over on Twitter asked you guys, what did you all think about this Monday's edition of WWE Raw for February 24th, 2025? 11% of you all said it was a below average show. 22% of you all said it was an awesome show. 33% of you all said it was an average show, and top dog right now, 34% of you said you didn't enjoy it honestly. Meanwhile, over on YouTube, youtube.com/the RCWR show, 14% of you all said it was a below average show. I am seeing a triple tie at 29% for awesome show, average show, didn't enjoy honestly. Appreciate all of you all that cast your votes on that one. Shout out to Connor in the chat who says, "What's up, Lee? Used to watch you back in 2013 after every episode of Raw when I was just a young teen. Awesome to see you still doing this. Keep smashing it. Glad your channel has grown so big. Deserved." Appreciate that. Yeah, for those of you, I know there's probably those of you that can't like see the numbers right now, but we're like just shy of 15,000 subscribers. I lost track of how many views this channel has gotten. I think we're like over 10 million views or something like that. And then when you just add up our social media channels total, like followers and all of that, I think we've got like a little bit over 30,000. And it's funny because I don't think nothing much of it. Like, I'm not settled. I want to keep seeing it grow, but I have some of my classmates and even my professors, they're like, this is actually good. Like, you were able to do this on your own as a small mom and pop, show. Like, you're able to do this, just like, you should be proud. It's like, well, you know what? I am. It's like, but I want more. And it's like, well, no, that's good. But no, like, you should really be proud of. It's like, it's not that I'm disappointed or anything like that. It's just, I can do better than that. Right. Because I know if I really, really put my mind to it and I really, really work it, like, I know the numbers could be even. But that's the thing. Like, I'm always so focused on my health, and then my personal life, happy life, married life, like, happy wife, like making sure all that's on point and everything. And yeah, but I'm just now kind of getting to that point now where it's like I can finally start to, okay, let's work on building up the brand even more. Let's do some fun things for the brand even more. Let's do some, you know, but Connor, it always makes me happy to hear from longtime listeners such as yourself, because, literally, and I say this all the time, like, I've got people that were either in junior high or high school that began listening to me. And it's so awesome to hear from folks that, dude, I now got a family. I have a kid, and I've been married for a couple of years. Or it's always nice hearing from the longtime listeners and everything. So I'm glad you're doing well, Connor. Sincerely, I'm glad you're doing well. Let's see, where do we go from here? We got some more wrestling news that we can definitely get into, some entertainment news as well. I just want to look at the show notes, get a really good flow, because I know there's some serious topics I want to get into, but I don't want to get into those just yet. If it's, yeah, I'm looking at our synopsis, so I have a better idea where we were Yeah, so we're good. We're good so far. You know, we were talking about WrestleMania 42. Yeah, it's going to be happening at the Caesars Superdome next year. It's going to be a 2-night event, April 11th through the 12th. New Orleans, Louisiana. Very excited for that. That's going to be such an awesome event. Like I can't wait. I can't wait. Will I try to go to next year's WrestleMania? I'm gonna try to make an attempt. I tell you that. I tell you that much right now. I'm gonna try to make an attempt, but worst case scenario, I will definitely try to see if I can take advantage of WrestleMania weekend for sure. It's so interesting how WWE with TKO now, and congratulations are in order for TKO, particularly Ari Emanuel, isn't it? Because now Ari Emanuel is a billionaire. He is now a billionaire. So that is I got to go back and see, like, okay, so where does that put him on the list? Does he come in last on the list, or did he move up a couple of notches there? Like, what exactly is going on there? Have you guys seen Isla Dawn? You know, we talked about her release from WWE and everything, but have you all seen the newest video that she put up in regards to her release? I want to load it up for you guys. I only watched like a couple of seconds and I was like, oh damn, this is nice. And I wanted to try to enjoy more of it with you guys so we could all watch it in real time and comment from there and everything. Looks like, as far as her Twitter account, because remember, we talked about the fact about a couple of months ago, she appeared to deactivate her Twitter account and everything. And it would seem that she has brought back a new account, apparently by the looks of it, as she's now on Isla WWE, and right now she has about over 8,000 followers. She's only following like 13 people, but I do want to play this newest video that she put out. I'm gonna share screen. I'm gonna share screen with you guys, so bear with me a second here. I want to share screen. I want to present and share screen. And we'll start share screen. And yes, that's what we want. We want to share that. And I think we're good to go now. Let me go ahead and I want to maximize. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take myself out of the equation here for just a hot minute. Let me look at my media assets. Let's hide that. There we go. There we go, guys. That's a lot better. All right, here we go. Enjoy.
One of the sad facts of life is that you won't hear all the good things that people have to say about you.
Hang on, guys. I want to make sure that you all are able to hear this because I have the audio coming from out of the MacBook speakers. So hang on a second here. Let's go to audio and let's go to Rodecaster Pro. Let's test that. Perfect. All right. Okay. I think we're good to go now. Let's try that again.
One of the sad facts of life is that you won't hear all the good things that people have to say about you until you're gone. Everyone bottles up their emotions only to pour them over your lifeless frame when it is just a little too late. Oh my God, I'm going to miss her. Oh my God, she was a champion. She was a star. She did not deserve this. Did I deserve this? No. But I didn't need it. I was bleeding out, and this was the pressure and the gauze. I was crashing. This is the thing that revived me. My heart stopped on the table, but someone down there sent me back up, knowing that it wasn't quite my time. The White Witch is gone. the unholy enchantress buried in the grave. Two-time tag team champion. Ashes in an urn. But don't grieve for me. Isla Dawn's not dead yet.
Very nice. Very nice. I thought that was relatively good. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that. I thought that was pretty good. Basically, Isla Dawn saying, yo, you ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah, that's basically what she's saying in a nutshell, right? So I like that. Some of you guys may feel that was pretty uh, sexy because she's just got all that nice thigh. You know, she's just chilling on that sofa, laid out, and she got all of that nice, good, juicy, thick thigh just all out there. And I'm just picturing some of you guys drooling over that and everything. No, I thought that was pretty good. What I'm most curious about is since she was let go, is that a 90-day thing? I think it is, because didn't she say, see you in 90? I remember being here on this show saying something about a post that she put up saying something about see you in 90. Yeah, so she's got a 90-day clause that's up and about right now. So I can't wait to see what she's going to be able to do out there on the free agency market. I hope she essentially pulls a Maria Kanellis. In case you guys don't understand that one, that one maybe kind of went over your head. Maria Kanellis, she basically had said in a recent stream with her husband that she's not going to be so quick to jump the gun going over to another promotion. It's kind of one of those, look, I'm kind of summarizing here, but basically it's like, look, I've committed to one promotion. I do a couple of years here, a couple of years here, a couple of years there. Like this go round, I just want to, pump the brakes really. And that would be my message to anybody, regardless of what promotion maybe you were just let go from, or you weren't able to work out new terms for a new contract and you're now finding yourself out there as a free agent. Don't be so quick to ink a deal, and if you can help it, right? If you can help it, like not everybody is going to have a situation, for example, like Doc Gallows. I don't know if you guys had heard about that, but Doc Gallows and his wife, who's a chiropractic therapist and all that, chiropractic doctor, they're getting ready to open up a practice in early March. And you would just like to believe that with all the great money that Doc Gallows has been able to bring in, thanks to his wrestling and then his wife being in her respected field and all that, just you would like to believe that, definitely from Doc's side of things, none of that would all been made possible. And now they're able to go and really live out their dream. Not everybody is financially smart like that with their money. Not everybody's in that position where they're being a bit frugal with their spending and making wise, smart choices, decisions. Like not everybody's gonna, right? Some people, unfortunately, okay, in order to keep this lifestyle up, I'm essentially a check away, or I got to stay on top of things here. I want to continue to give myself as much cushion as humanly possible. So for those that are in that position where you can take your time making your next move and all that, please, I implore you, do so. Learn from some of these people that have kept bouncing around, yanking out new deals after new deals and coming out, that wasn't so good. If you're able to take your time and really weigh in your options, then I would definitely say do that. Like, look at what's going on with Carmella right now. It would appear as though, at least by a lot of the reports that's out there by our good friends over at PW Insider and Fightful and everybody, that Carmella and WWE, it seems, at least for now, they haven't been able to ink a new deal. Now, I don't believe for a second that we have seen the very last of Carmella in WWE. I don't believe that whatsoever. I am looking at this and I am asking myself, will a new deal be inked between her and WWE? I think so. I honestly believe so. I'm just looking at the whole Corey Graves situation, and there's a big part of me that would like to believe if there was ever a voice of reason, Carmella may have sat Corey down and really look, this is what's up. It's not as bad as you're making it out to be. Hey, look, the more money that we're able to bring in, the better, but not for nothing. I haven't quite figured out exactly what my next endeavor is going to be. So until I'm able to really figure that all out and everything, you've got a great thing going with WWE. Definitely continue to pursue it. So, and it was interesting hearing what Michael Cole had to say in that recent interview that he did with Logan Paul, which was fantastic. I definitely highly recommend you guys go out of your way, check it out, because he kind of shed just a tiny little bit of light on that whole situation. But even Michael Cole was very perplexed at what was going on there with Corey Graves and all that. So I'm glad that Corey Graves, WWE, they were able to smooth that all out and everything. But, the best thing that one can do right now is, look, not for nothing, but long as the money is continuing to come in, money is still right. It shouldn't matter if you're calling the A show, the B show, or the C show. A job's a job. The money is right. Keep doing your thing. And God damn it, if you're not feeling it, then just mind your time and quietly just start making some moves. That way, when it's time for you to do what you need to do, you are able to do that, bad boy. But for those of you that's kind of looking at this Carmella situation and going, is this a sign that potentially Corey Graves could be rolling out of the WWE when his contract is over and done with? Not so fast. Not so fast. No. I don't see that being the case whatsoever. I think it'll be a matter of time, a lot sooner rather than look at it this way. Remember how all the reports were out there about Alexa Bliss and how so many people were trying to, you could tell they were guessing what was going on there with Alexa Bliss. All right. You could tell. Have we not learned? That's my whole message. Have we not learned? So at this point, it's just kind of one of those, let's just see how this plays out. Seriously, let's see how this plays out. And we were talking about TNA earlier, one of the main events for their Sacrifice pay-per-view event, Masha Slamovich is going to be defending the TNA Knockouts title against Cora Jade. I don't know if you guys had heard that. I am definitely looking forward to checking that out. That will be going down on March 14th, by the way, TNA Sacrifice in El Paso, Texas, at the El Paso Coliseum. And the way that card is looking right now, check this out. We've got Moose defending his X Division Championship against Jeff Hardy, ladder match. We just told you about Masha Slamovich and Cora Jade. Meanwhile, the Rascals will be taking on Ace Austin, Wesley, Tyson DuPont, and Tyreek Igwe, 6-man tag team matchup. Mance Warner faces Sammy Callahan in a one-on-one match. And we got a 10-man tag match between Joe Hendry, Matt Hardy, Elijah, also known as Elias. Looks like he's officially with TNA. Good for him. Leon Slater and a mystery tag partner. They'll be facing the Systems, Eddie Edwards, Brian Myers, JDC, the Colognes, Eddie Colon, and Orlando Colon. Wonder who that mystery tag partner is going to be. But that is how that card is shaping up for TNA Sacrifice. I would imagine there's probably going to be some more WWE crossover, little surprise appearances as well. Elsewhere, Bill Goldberg said in a recent interview that his retirement match will be going down, he believes, summer of this year. And as far as where exactly it's going to be going down, he feels it'll all be taking place at SummerSlam. So, if all I remember, one of the last times we saw Bill Goldberg there, he pretty much was in a segment with Gunther, and it was almost teased that way. It wasn't almost, it blatantly was teased that maybe Gunther and Goldberg, that was maybe going to be the next matchup for Goldberg. That was probably going to be his farewell matchup and everything. So it does pose the question, who is going to be Bill Goldberg's final opponent? You know, if they wanted to go with Gunther, you could definitely go in that direction. If you maybe wanted to go with, and I really hope they go in this direction instead, but if you wanted to go with Braun Breaker, I mean, very similar career paths. You really talk about essentially passing on the torch. I think the way that Triple H, WWE and crew has been handling Braun Breaker so far, it's been very reminiscent of a Bill Goldberg. And I just feel that they can really, really take this to new heights and everything. And you know what's really cool about, I was telling this to a buddy of mine the other day. I said, you know, what's really cool about Braun Breaker, all things considered, you know, you think about the Cowboys, and I want to use this reference as an example. But you look at all those times that Jimmy Johnson was able to win the Super Bowl there with the Cowboys. And it's like, this is great what happened with Jimmy Johnson. And then you look at the next coach that came in afterwards, and you go, yeah, that's all nice and everything, but you were able to do some of those things because you had some of Jimmy Johnson's guys. You had some leftovers. Let's see what happens when it's just totally a clean slate. You know, it has nothing to do with Jimmy Johnson and all this other stuff. But I look at the Braun Breaker situation and I go, it's interesting because you can kind of tell way back when that for Triple H, Braun Breaker was his guy to carry WWE into tomorrow. And I don't necessarily know if Vince McMahon kind of felt that same way. And if he did, he had a funny, weird way of showing it. But, you're just thinking about the fact that, okay, sooner or later, in the next, just think about this. Just close your eyes and think about this for a second. Like within the next 5 years, give or take, won't be no Roman Reigns, won't be probably a Seth Rollins, probably won't be a Drew McIntyre, probably won't be R-Truth. There probably won't be insert. And you're just looking at, okay, so who's going to be the guys that's going to be carrying the company into tomorrow? And you're looking at a guy like Braun Breaker, you're looking at Gunther, you're looking at Logan Paul, you're looking at insert, the guys that you're eyeballing. And Braun Breaker is definitely that guy, without a doubt. So I don't know. I asking me personally, look, either way, you can go no wrong if it's going to be between Gunther and Braun Breaker, but flip of a coin, really. But for me personally, I hope they go with Braun Breaker. I think that'd be the perfect opponent there for Goldberg. Let's do this. Let's go into some Elimination Chamber predictions for this Saturday. Let's pull that up for you guys right now. Again, Elimination Chamber is going to be happening this Saturday, March 1st. Everything begins, if I'm not mistaken, at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. So, Elimination Chamber, Toronto. Final stop before WrestleMania. This is how your elimination card is looking right now. Your Elimination Chamber card. As it stands right now on this night, we've got 4 matches. We've got Sami Zayn facing Kevin Owens. It is a unsanctioned match. Why can't we just say this is, it's a fight? They keep saying when they do these interviews, they keep saying this match. No. This is going to be a fight. Let's call it for what it is. This is going to be a fight. I am going to go with, oh man, this is a tough one, fam. This is a tough one. But I am going to go with Sami Zayn somehow picking up the win, but it's going to cost him. It's going to cost him. I can see something going down where for like a fuck finish just out of nowhere, I could see Sami Zayn just small packets roll up and just he gets the win that way. But I could see Kevin Owens essentially pulling a Triple H sledgehammer to the back of the neck of Sami Zayn. Like they've already planted the seeds there with some of the interviews that Sami Zayn has given that his neck is not 100%. He doesn't give a damn. He knows he shouldn't be doing this match, but I can literally see Kevin Owens. You know, you got to go beyond the pile driver. You got to go beyond that. You got to do something that's going to be so goddamn devastating that Kevin Owens is going to be vilified. He is going to be booed out of that damn arena. Okay. And this is definitely that right type of crowd to be doing it in front of. So, although Sammy may win, it's going to cost him. I can see something very diabolical happening, though, especially with Kevin Owens coming out the next night, next edition of SmackDown, saying something along the lines of, you all did this, you all caused this, this is you all's fault, you know, you all are to blame for this. I can just see this all going exactly like that. And this is how Randy Orton essentially returns. Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, WrestleMania. That's how I'm seeing this essentially play out. Um, you know, I know some people are like, well, wait a minute, what about Sami Zayn Owens at WrestleMania? I don't see the two getting to that point. I don't see the two getting to that point. I don't know why. I'm kind of trusting my gut instincts here. And look, my gut instincts could be wrong, but there's just this weird thing I have that's saying, no, we're not going to see these two guys again on the WrestleMania card. No, Owens will be there for sure, but Sammy's no. So I see something very diabolical happening. Now, some of you may be also going, well, wait a minute. What about maybe a Randy Orton returning right here in this unsanctioned match? And then, you know, Owens kind of shifts his attention to, nah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. Meanwhile, Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus team up to go up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. You know, unless we're gonna throw an interesting curveball in here, I see no reason why Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus wouldn't pick up the win here. What I'm more curious about is, will Charlotte Flair make her presence felt? That's what I'm more curious about. You know, just to kind of rub it in there on Tiffany Stratton. Will she do a little something? If she does, I don't even think that's going to matter though. I really don't. No, this should be Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss versus Bayley versus Naomi versus Roxanne Perez. Elimination Chamber match for a women's world championship match at WrestleMania 41. Well, Liv just became the tag champion, so we can take that out. We got Bianca and Naomi in there. I still feel that if there's ever a time where we see Jade Cargill make her return and okay, that next chapter begins, like when Bianca Belair returns. I'm sorry, when Jade Cargill returns. For us, from a fan's perspective, we're going to be going, okay, so who is she coming after? Because somebody in that ring she owes an ass whooping to. Is it Liv Morgan? Is it in fact Liv Morgan, contrary to what Liv Morgan is saying? Or is it going to be Bianca? Or is it going to be Naomi? I think we're going to get that story finally revealed in that Chambers match. Make no mistake about that. I'd be shocked if we didn't, quite honestly. So Bianca, I'm not seeing her. Bailey, correction, Bianca, Naomi, eliminate them. So far we've eliminated Liv, Bianca, Naomi. That leaves us with Bailey, Roxanne Perez, and Alexa Bliss. I am going to say, because this is pretty much whoever wins this, they take on Rhea Ripley, right? Yeah. I am going to say eliminate Bailey. I'm not seeing Bailey. I think this is going to come down to Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez. That's who it's going to come down to. Tricky one here. This is a tricky one. Do you go with the returning Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley at Elimination Chamber? Do you go in that one where basically you got some superficial, supernatural stuff that's going to be playing out behind the scenes there? Or do you go with the I'm going to go with Roxanne Perez. I probably should. My mind is screaming Bliss, but my gut is saying Perez. I'm going to go with Perez on this one. That's final. Meanwhile, for the men's Elimination Chamber, winner of this gets a shot at the Undisputed Championship at WrestleMania 41. We got John Cena versus CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul versus Damian Priest versus Seth frickin' Rollins. God damn, this is man. Okay. So basically, winner of this takes on Cody Rhodes. And then don't forget, we also got Cody Rhodes and what's his decision for The Rock there. You know, will he cough up his soul? This is a I really like the idea of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes for the championship. I really love that, especially if you wanted to do the story in such a way where it circles back to unresolved issues between The Rock and CM Punk. And like, just imagine, like, Cody does sell his soul. Punk doesn't anticipate this, whatever, right? Yeah, he might have teased it, and but maybe he overestimated Cody Rhodes when it's all said and done, right? And it's kind of one of those type of deals. I'm not seeing Seth Rollins though. Let's eliminate him off the break. Contrary to, like, I don't see Seth Rollins winning this. We can take him out. I don't see Damian Priest winning this. I don't see Drew McIntyre. So really, when it's all said and done, we're homing in on Logan Paul, John Cena, CM Punk. Boy, I tell you what, if you really wanted to make some heads turn and you really wanted to sell the hell out of WrestleMania, the smart money is Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes. I know I can just hear a lot of people just screaming, "No, Lee, what the hell is wrong with you, dude?" No, I can see a lot of people. Well, dude, we're going over it right now. We've got All American Wrestling saying, "What's your pick?" We're going over it right now, man. Damn. Patience. Shit. Let's see here. See, I'm a businessman when it's all said and done. I'm a businessman. And I like following what makes that money. So I like the idea of Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes. I'm thinking about that social media influence. I'm thinking about the media appearances, just the whole 9 yards. That is what I'm really thinking about. I don't think WWE is going to go in that direction. That's just my personal preference. So no Logan Paul. So it comes down to CM Punk, John Cena. CM Punk and John Cena. I don't know, fam. I don't know. John Cena's gonna get this. I don't want it to happen, but I feel like John Cena is actually going to win this, and he's gonna go up against Cody at WrestleMania. That's what I'm feeling right now. I think when it's all said and done and you circle back to CM Punk, there's going to be some type of shenanigan or two or three that's going to go down, because think about this. Think about this. It's the main thing that I think a lot of people are going to miss on this one. The fact that CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins are in there. And just the history between all three of those men. They're going to be so fixated on one another, right? Rivalries renewed, whatever you want to call it, right? Issues unresolved between these three men. They're going to be so caught up in their feelings with one another against each other in here that it's going to give someone like maybe a Logan Paul, a John Cena, an opportunity to come that freaking close. Logan Paul, very, very close, but I think John Cena is going to be the one to win this. And then as far as like your WrestleMania main event, I hear a lot of you guys are going, something could happen there with Punk, Rollins, maybe Roman Reigns. It could happen. It could. I don't think my mind's going to change, though. I think Cena's going to get this, and Cena, Cody Rhodes. I mean, come on, two of the biggest baby faces, Cena being the past biggest baby face going up against Cody Rhodes, the current baby face. And now here's the thing. We got to think about Cody and The Rock and that whole decision thing. What if Cody shoots The Rock down? Rock decides, okay, sorry, you feel that way. Just know that things are going to be much more difficult for you going forward as champion, especially on your journey to WrestleMania, yada, 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 yakety smackety, right? But just keep this in the back of your mind. We get to WrestleMania, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. What if it's at that moment Cody reveals that he did, in fact, sell his soul to The Rock? Rock comes out. Cena's a little bit confused. He's not sure what's going on. WrestleMania moment, we find out Cody did, in fact, sell his soul to The Rock. Shock John Cena, right? Oh, well, John Cena lost because Cody sold his soul to The Rock. It's the biggest main story coming out of WrestleMania. So marinate on that. Think about that. I might be on to something, though. All right, let's recap here. Unsanctioned match, going with Kevin Owens. Kinda. No, I'm going with Sami Zayn for the win, but Kevin Owens is going to have the ultimate laugh. Rewind if you're joining us live in real time. You'll be able to hear why I'm going in that direction. Tiffany Stratton, Trish Stratus. Damn, that rhymes, don't it? Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. Kind of rhymed a little bit there to me. Got them over Nia Jax, Candice LeRae. Women's Elimination Chamber match. Pretty close here, but I'm going to go with Roxanne Perez. Honorable mention, though. Don't be too surprised if Bliss maybe gets it, but I'm going to go with Roxanne Perez. And for your main event match, I am homing in on CM Punk and John Cena. Very close to call, but I'm going to go with John Cena for that one. That's how I'm looking at Elimination Chamber. Yeah, I will be live when it goes off the air. I am looking forward to being here on the post show with you guys. So make sure you tune in for that one. Also, as we get ready to wind down with the show here, the Lee Sanders Wrestling Awards. I got some news about that one. So because of all the stuff that's been going on with my father-in-law's health. And for those of you that's just tuning in, you might have missed it. Father-in-law is doing fantastic now. Thanks to a lot of you guys that had privately reached out, asked me what was going on and everything. But he's doing better. We're going to push back the wrestling awards. We were actually supposed to go over the winners Monday night. Because of everything that was going on, I'm going to add a little bit more time. Not to mention, I really wasn't promoting it like that because I was so sidetracked with a lot of personal stuff going on. So we're going to extend it basically by a whole month. So Monday, March 24th, we'll be revealing the winners for the 2024 Wrestling Awards. So again, March 24th. That's a Monday night. So after Raw goes off the air, hop on. We'll be going over the winners on that one. So, but yeah, father-in-law is doing fantastic. I'm doing a lot better. I had fell a total of 3 times. I won't go over the whole thing again, but I had fell like 3 times, literally at the same spot where after I got done parking my car and I got to walk across the street, go to this little hill, just to get to my home and everything. And I fell down 3 times in pretty much the exact same spot. And the third time was the worst because I messed my left knee up pretty bad. So I was wearing a knee brace, one of those joints you could buy online, really nice, good padded joint and all that. I was pushing that in a cane for a little bit. Happy to say, pretty much a week later, I'm now out of the brace, not using the cane anymore. Although once in a while, I feel a little bit of slight stiffness, but I'm good otherwise. So there's that. True story. I had got my beautiful 2003 Honda Accord. I got it fixed back in late October, early November. I mean, it had a lot of issues that was going on. And I thought for sure for the amount of money that I paid, I got her tuned up. And it turns out over the weekend, as far as the health issues go, Tam's had a health scare. She was on her way home and she just started feeling very lightheaded. She also was feeling dizzy. Don't ask me how, but she basically was able to get herself to Kaiser to get checked out and all that. And long story short, they uh, figured out through doing blood tests, X-rays, all that stuff. They were able to figure out MRIs on it. They were able to figure out that she was dehydrated. Also, she had a UTI. So, they hooked her up with some stuff and, she's feeling a lot better now. So that's good. But that same night, I'm having car issues with my Honda, like to the point my car battery comes on, like for no damn reason. I'm going, what the fuck is, and literally, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but literally, I'm driving and my whole car it shuts off for like 3 seconds and then the battery comes right back on. I'm going, oh shit. So I'm text to speech, I'm saying, hey Siri, and hey, send a text message to, and like it's literally listening right now. Don't, never mind, shut up. Right. And I'm telling Tabs what's going on, and she's like, okay, where are you right now? I'm going, I'm about maybe 28 minutes from home. She's like, okay, well, stop whatever you're doing, get that motherfucker home. I'm like, yes, bet. So luckily, don't ask me how, but somehow I was able to get the damn car home. And we actually took it to one of our favorite mechanics down the street. We really should have been going to him all along, but we ended up not going there anymore because he left. But the new people that they got there, they're actually pretty damn good. More on them in a little bit. But we were able to get the Honda back, and we're thinking, well, maybe if we just change the battery, that was the issue. Battery was still coming on even after the battery swap. So long story short, we got the car over to our mechanic, And our mechanic is like, okay, your alternator, you're having issues with that. And here's why you're having issues with your alternator. It looks like a whole bunch of oil. Basically, something about whoever was working on the car last, they didn't seal it right in the respected places that it should have been sealed. So as a result of that, oil and other stuff was able to get not just on the alternator, but on other parts as well. It's like, yeah. It's like, how? And I immediately thought about the last people that worked on the car. And it was like, motherfuckers. So that pretty much, all that craziness on top of health issues, that all is what was going on last week. So a little bit of a positive note, applied to a couple of more colleges. I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I said, you know what, let me just holler at, and that's going good. I told you guys last, I was very concerned about my elements of statistics class, my mathematics class, because that is like some in regards to math. I did pretty good for my first test. I got a 85.5, and then there was another homework assignment slash test. I scored 100 on that. So we're off to a pretty good start. Still a little bit long ways to go, May to be exact, but all that going pretty good. So some positive stuff that's happening. Not to end things on a Debbie Downer of a note, but I just want to make sure I show this woman. I want to give her flowers right now because she definitely is deserving of her flowers. So I'll tell you what, we'll talk about this, but we'll definitely end it on a little bit of a much lighter note, as I will talk gaming. I'll talk a little WWE 2K25 for just a little bit here. But I want to take this time out and I want to wish the friends, family, colleagues of the Solstice, Roberta Flack, who passed away this week at the age of 88. I want to offer my deepest condolences here. She's from right here in Washington, D.C. She might have not been born out here, but she spent such a long time. She spent about a third of her life out here in the Washington region. Uh, Lived in Richmond, Virginia, then came up through Arlington. And something that a lot of the news reports out here have missed tremendously in covering her passing is the fact that she was, I don't know if anybody has surpassed that age, like if somebody younger maybe had came in after her, but at the time when she enrolled at Howard University, she was 15 years old. You heard me right. She was 15 when she enrolled at Howard University. I mean, that has to be a record for like youngest ever, if not second youngest or third youngest. That has to be a record in itself, I would imagine. And she went to Howard to study, major in piano and vocals. And when she got a little older, she spent several years as a teacher at various schools, one of them being Banneker. Shout out to my Banneker alumni there. I'm not a Banneker alumni, but I've personally found that I always get along with Banneker alumni. I was supposed to go to that school, but I decided, nah, I don't want to go there. I want to go, elsewhere and everything. But when she got a little bit older, she was giving piano lessons and vocal lessons from her home that was just up on Euclid Street. And on weekends, she would go to jazz clubs, whoever would have her, but she would go and she would perform. And back in the day, as she was coming up, she was mainly focusing on folk blues. And of course, she was the first ever to win a Grammy Award for Record of the Year for 2 consecutive years. That was a feature that would not be crushed for almost 3 decades. It's something else that a lot of them had missed out on too is her relationship her friendship there with the late great Donny Hathaway. It's funny the way their careers had overlapped because she was there at Howard, for some years prior to when Donnie came in there. And when she met Donnie was a cook, if I'm not mistaken, and they had so many things in common that musically, they found spirited kinship with one another. That when Roberta Flack had put out her first couple of albums, Donny Hathaway actually performed background vocals and musical instrumental arrangements on a couple of songs for a few of her albums, and he obviously returned the same favor. Then you got to a point there where they both ended up being under Atlantic Records at the same time. And executives felt, well, wait a minute, since these two have so much history with one another, why don't we get them in the studio together and let's have them, make an album? And at this point, it wasn't so much Roberta, but she was on a little bit of a decline, and Downey was starting to catch lightning in the bottle. So it was kind of like, well, let's knock out two birds with one stone. And of course, many of you all that know your classic music and everything, Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, that album that came out, what a beautiful collaboration. Seriously, what a beautiful collaboration. One of my favorite songs off of that 70s album. I like the last track, titled Mood. And it's Roberta Flack that's playing the lead piano, but Donny Hathaway is playing the electric piano. It is 7+ minutes of very emotional roller coaster. It really puts a nice capsule on a masterpiece album that you're listening to. And then let's not also forget, I think it was like around 1978, 1979, pretty much when Donnie passed away. Roberta had put out Roberta Flack featuring Donny Hathaway. It was a postmonious joint, obviously, for Donnie. Wasn't quite the same, although Roberta Flack was interviewed many times, and she said of that album, from that album, I think the name of the track is Disguises. She said she was really, really fond of that. But first time I ever saw Your Face, which spent several weeks on the Billboard Top 100s, making it the Billboard's top song of the year back in 1973. Was also featured as one of the key essential tracks for Clint Eastwood's Play Misty for Me, where Clint Eastwood plays a radio disc jockey that deals with this obsessive, stalkerish fan. It's one of my favorite psycho thrillers of all time. 1974. Roberta Flack follows up that hit single with Killing Me Softly with His Words. Of course, everybody remembers Lauryn Hill, the Fugees version, and rightfully so. That was a great rendition. Me being the music buff that I am, I've always been a firm believer in when it comes to doing renditions of songs. If you're going to do a rendition of a classic song, do your best to go out there and make that shit your own. And Fugees did just that. The Fugees did just that back in the day, in the 90s and all that. And for Howard, long after her musical career was over, she still found herself to be doing stuff. She was always staying active, even during the pandemic. She found herself staying active as she was trying to bring awareness and funds for Feed the Children. She also had participated in the Roberta Flack of Music at the High Leadership Charter School out in the Bronx. Turns out they were offering a free, innovative music educational program for underprivileged students. So she was always being active in her communities, always trying to pay it forward and everything. definitely wanted to take this time out and give her her respected flowers. So hopefully that'll entice some of you guys that appreciate music of the past. If you've never dipped into Roberta Flack's catalog, hopefully after hearing all this, you'll go back and you'll listen to some stuff, and hopefully you'll say, hey Leah, I ended up listening to good recommendation and all that. So if you have not checked it out yet, apparently on the YouTube channel, there is a IGN 20-minute exclusive with the lead designer and senior designer for WWE 2K25. They're showcasing the My Career mode for this upcoming WWE 2K25. And don't forget, we got that game coming out in like about 2 weeks, just about. And graphics looks very on point. Love the fact that you can have intergender matches. I also love the fact that you can have your custom wrestler wear all kinds of really cool street clothes. You can always dress them up, not have them be in the same clothes for 4 years in a row, basically. So that's good. The roster alone, I mean, this has to be definitely the most expanded, biggest roster yet for a video game. I was taking a look at this earlier today, and I just said, good God Almighty. I mean, right now we are like up to over 300 wrestlers for 2K25. Like, if I were to just go over the names right now, that would be like a whole segment itself. But like, I'm not going to, like, put it to you this way: anybody that you can think of, if you've been watching the WWE product like the past 2 years, anybody that you can think of is in the game. Put it to you that way. Anybody that you can think of that you've seen on a semi-regular basis, they are in the game. Even those that recently got released are actually in the game. It's freaking ridiculous. Huge fucking roster. I gotta say, I'm very impressed that they were able to get all of these people in this game. And then I'm looking at some of the DLC. Obviously, you're gonna get the Wyatt 6, I guess, when you uh pre-order bonus, right? When you pre-order the game, you're gonna get access to the Wyatt 6. And then the 2K25 Deadman Edition exclusive characters, you get access to Undertaker skin from 1990. You also get a Undertaker Elite skin. Basically, that is a Mattel toy version of them. Brother Love. You've got the 2K25 Bloodline Edition exclusive characters. That basically is going to include J Elite Uso, so a Mattel version. You also get a Elite Mattel version of Roman Reigns, and for The Rock, you get a Nation of Domination version. And then also, let me see here. I'm seeing rumblings that apparently for like future packs, but I haven't been able to confirm that just yet. So I want to wait on that just a little bit before commenting further. But from the graphics that I've seen for these next gen consoles for this release, it looks very, very promising. Apparently, the developing team had revealed that they were thinking about, just for the Samoan wrestlers, so Roman Reigns and all of them, they were thinking about adding in this cool feature where if you tried to headbutt them, they would no sell it. Like it wouldn't phase them whatsoever, and they would just power through. It almost made it into the game, but the reason why they decided against it, they were afraid that there would be individuals that would spam the hell out of it in online competition, right? Look at that as a loophole and pretty much be undefeated or somewhat as a result. So they decided, yeah, we're going to go on ahead and take that feature out. I don't blame them on that. I wish they could have toyed around with that idea a little more, though, because, okay, if I just can't do a headbutt to this character, but I can, if my moves is set up just right and I can punch them in the head, and or I can, okay, well then if that's how I'm able to counter it, then that's how I'm able to counter it. It would have been nice. I think if they would have maybe just toyed the idea and maybe in a beta testing mode, if they would have tried it out with just one character and see how that would have done. I think that would have probably. I think it would have been fine. I honestly think it would have been fine, but I can understand their reservations in regards to that. Game sounds like it's shaping up pretty good. I'm looking forward to playing it. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some type of a launch joint. Come on live, play the game, all that good stuff. So I think we will do that. I think we'll definitely do that for sure. Besides that, there was something else. Oh, real quick. So apparently, we definitely got to talk about this before we get ready to dip out of here. This will be the last thing that we talk about here. And I don't need to be long-winded about this. So apparently, CM Punk, Tony Khan, AEW, they are being sued over alleged assault, breach of contract, and more. So apparently, former AEW wrestler there, Ryan Nemeth, he's the one that is issuing this lawsuit. Again, alleged assault, breach of contract, and more. Shout out to the good folks over there at Fightful. Nemeth filed the lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court against AEW Punk Tony Khan on February the 14th. He's seeking compensation damages, punitive damages, and demands a jury trial. The lawsuit alleges that Punk assaulted and battered two wrestlers, Matt and Nick Jackson, in addition to Nemeth. Khan subsequently suspended Punk for his actions, and Nemeth alleges that Khan did not feel that Punk could be removed without a substantial loss of profit for AEW. Additionally, he has a very deep affinity for Punk. He kept Punk around despite his alleged violent outbursts. Apparently, during his suspension, Punk made it clear that he despised Nemeth, though he claims he did nothing that would cause this hatred. Punk reportedly made it well known that he was angry at Nemeth. Some of y'all are hearing this, you may be going, why exactly is Punk and AEW being sued? Like, I still don't quite get this here. So Ryan Nemeth is claiming that he reached out to two executives in AEW with worries that Punk would assault him after Punk made his return April 16th of 2023. Months later, June 21st of that year, Punk allegedly assaulted Nemeth in the men's locker room. In a menacing manner, he reportedly yelled, "Do we have a fucking problem? Do we need to step outside and handle this like men?" He also alleges that he tried to de-escalate the situation as he was cornered. The following day, Nemeth reportedly talked to Tony Schiavone and other AEW executives about what happened. Punk was not reprimanded for those actions. Nemeth believes he was benched, not being scheduled for matches as a way of punishing wrestlers by AEW. He spoke to AEW's attorneys from Latin and Watkins, who reassured him he was not being benched. And if you're keeping track at home, he would not be booked for a match for more than 2 months. After talking to Schiavone, Nemeth's contract then contacted the AEW's legal team to file a complaint on June 17th, 2023. According to Nemeth, it was Punk's desire that he be benched. Tony Khan went along with it due to his deep affinity with Punk. He was then booked for a match on August 12th, 2023. On the day of his match, Nemeth saw Punk walking into the arena. Punk reportedly began texting someone, and Nemeth was then told to meet with AEW supervisor Pat Buck when he got to the venue. He was told he needed to leave immediately and was flown out the same day. Are y'all with me so far? Crazy shit so far. Nemeth leaving the arena went viral and was an embarrassing situation for him. These were once again Punk's orders, according to Nemeth, who complained about it on August 15th, 2023. The AEW lawyers were reportedly stunned and could not offer any explanation for the conduct of Punk and for Khan. A few months later, Nemeth wrestled his final match for AEW on November 18th of 2024. While he continued to reach out to AEW's legal team, one of their attorneys, a gentleman by the name of Chris Peck, threatened legal action against Nemeth. He accused him of having a ghostwriter in his emails. A week after Nemeth's last match, Punk left AEW to rejoin WWE. Allegedly, Khan was furious with Nemeth, blaming him for Punk's AEW departure. The defendants then allegedly embarked on a blackmail campaign of Nemeth, trying to get him out of professional wrestling. Nemeth believes Khan did everything he could to ensure he would never make a living in wrestling again. Since leaving AEW, you all know Nemeth joined TNA. His brother Nick is over there as well. So that is where things stand right now. Look, a lot of this is very speculatory, right? A lot of this is all in the air, and it's one of those things where you go, okay, like that's a lot of speculation. That is a lot of I think this, I think that, and it's gonna come right down to, okay, what exactly can you prove? That's the thing. What exactly can you prove? And yeah, look, as far as text messages goes, that obviously is, hey, you can obviously delete. Right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna get a cease there. You're gonna get a warrant there, so you can try to look at phone records and try to look at messages. And I don't really think so. I don't think you're gonna go in that direction. What are you going to do? You're going to try to see if maybe you can get that jury trial, and maybe you can enter discovery mode and have access to whatever emails. And like, unless Nemeth has some emails that can back up some of this stuff that he's claiming, I don't really see this going anywhere. um do I even see it being a case where maybe they'll settle this out of court and give him a little something, something? That's very well possible, especially if Tony Khan wants to just be done with this so that he can pretty much move on. I can see Tony Khan maybe doing something like that, but um I don't think this is really gonna pick up any steam, though, boys and girls. Look, I'm no legal expert. I don't claim to be none of that, but I will believe that maybe this has more of a fighting chance if it's a situation where Nemeth maybe gets the services of Stephen P. New. At least that way, if that were to happen, then it's kind of one of those, well, wait a minute, maybe there might be something here, maybe there might be some interesting meat on these bones, and maybe there's some great substance here that we're not obviously seeing just yet, that hasn't been revealed. So I mean, it's still early. Let's kind of see where this goes. But if we're just gonna go from a gut reaction standpoint right now, it's kind of one of those, much a whole lot to do about nothing right now. We'll see. We'll see. So that's that. All right. So programming notes gonna be here this weekend. We're gonna be covering the Elimination Chamber Toronto event. We'll do a special post show on that one. Looking forward to that. Meanwhile, I want you guys to be kind, rewind, check out previous episodes you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcast. Just search the RCWR show. Of course, I'm all throughout social media, including Blue Sky, having a lot of fun on there. Use keywords, the RCWR show. And yeah, that is going to do it. Great to be back. Looking forward to talking a lot more things, wrestling, entertainment, and beyond with you guys, as we are knee deep in the WrestleMania season. Until next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I'll catch you guys later. Take care, y'all, and peace.